You are about to learn how to do water reflections. Meet Ellen Howard. Hi, Ellen.
Hey, Eric, how are you?
You're coming to us live from California, so you're a long, long way from me. Must be like 6 o'clock in the morning there, huh?
Oh, at least 6 o'clock. Yeah.
Well, thank you for doing this today. Tell us a little bit about what you're going to do today.
Well, I'm going to take you on a journey into the marshlands, and we're going to cover just the moodiness of the marshlands and also the beautiful reflections you get in the waters. So it's one of my favorite subject matters.
Outstanding. Well, let's get right to it. I understand you're going to have to change your camera out, right? So I'm going to go ahead and show a couple of your images in the meantime, but we'll get set up right away. I'm just going to pull her off for a second. So I'm just going to show you just randomly some of Ellen's work. Ellen does beautiful work. Look at that. Lots of energy, great compositions, beautiful color. There's a marshland painting. I think that's probably close to what we're going to do. Maybe not a sunset. This is lovely. And then this is what she's going to be painting today from, I think. So what I'd like to do is to tell you while we're waiting for Ellen to get set up, is that today we have a winner. The winner of the easel brush clip, which we announced yesterday, is Marcia Wilson Holloway. And she's from Nebraska. So Marcia Wilson Holloway, congratulations, thumbs up and applause. You get an easel brush clip. Tomorrow, I'll be announcing the winner from today's comments. If you make a comment today, and make sure you tell us where you're from. That's very helpful. We love to see people from foreign lands as well. And we give prizes randomly after the replays, right? So today, those of you watching live, and then after the replays, but you're going to get a chance to get a Plein Air Magazine apron, a really terrific apron. And so make sure that you put comments in today. Tell us where you're from, what you're doing. I should also mention that we're coming up about halfway into the month. The Plein Air Salon is going to end on the 31st of the month. Plein Air Salon Art Competition, really great opportunity to enter, to win, and get some great prizes like $15,000 cash. All our prizes are cash. What a lot of people do is they make up these big numbers, but you know, it's like lots of art supplies and stuff. Nothing wrong with that. But we just decided we're all cash. So, you know, we have 31,000, 30,000, I think, in total cash because we have monthly prizes and we have others. Now we've got Ellen back. Ellen, looks like you've already kind of laid in your underpainting there. Tell us about that.
Yeah, well, actually, I wanted to let you know that I start my paintings actually with a sketch. So I do draw my composition out first before I even start working. And this is, it's an underpainting that I put on just because of the time constraints that we have. But I'm just thinking about my overlapping shapes here. I like to do a color wash. It gives me a basis for laying in more color on top, and it just really gives a nice vibration. So I've started using these panels. It's the Lanta Art Solutions, and I'll show you what they are. They're double primed linen panels, and they have it's a gesso or gator board here. And I was actually pretty frustrated with these panels at first because of the linen. When you put a brush stroke down, it kind of pulls it up. So one day I was just doing my undercoating and I had to leave the studio and I couldn't come back till the next day to finish it. And I realized that the underpainting had really set, and it gave me some beautiful marks. And you can see too, is I love these little squigglies or little drips you get in. And it's basically just Gamsol and paint, no white. I want to keep it really translucent.
So you're doing, that's oil paint.
Yep.
Okay, and so tell us the name of the panel again.
So I usually use Raymar, but Atlanta Art Solutions are these panels. They're just wonderful. And they're great because they're gator, and you can use them plein air also. So,
all right.
And then I just want to let you know too that I pre-mixed my colors. I love my colors. So I will show you my palette here.
Well, so, back it up, back it up, back it up. No, way back. Put it like where your painting is.
All right, right here. So they kind of tease me in the art circles that I have too many colors. I love my colors. But Bill Davidson has been one of my teachers for many years, and he's the one that started me on pre-mixing my colors. And what I like is, here's my sky colors, my back tree colors, kind of my front colors, and then I'm moving up to the foreground, and then here's my water. So you can see, I can see already that all these colors are harmonizing. And I tell my students, you know, it's really good to pre-mix because, you know, if you get your colors harmonizing already, then half the battle, you know, is done. And you can see, you know, if you've mixed a color that is popping out or it doesn't go with everything else. So
no, that's a great idea because you can see it as a whole.
Yeah, you can see it as a whole, and you can see how nice it works together. So
now, do you do that when you're out plein air painting as well?
You know, I do. I used to do it religiously, and then now because the light's changing so fast, there's certain areas, like if there's a color that I'm having a hard time with, or something, like sometimes with the colors of the rocks by the ocean, I'll pre-mix 3 or 4 of them because I know I need to, you know, get them more exact. It just depends on how much time I have, but I do think it's a great tool.
All right, well, let's get started. I want to see this.
All right, so I'm going to start with my sky, which I usually do, and it just kind of sets my light. And so what I'm constantly looking for here is the outline of the tree kind of sets the shape of the tree. So I'm also looking at this negative space through here. And so you can already see when I'm putting on the blue, how that tree line is coming out.
Yep. So you guys can ask questions in the comments. I'm watching the comments, and I'll tell where people are from time to time. That looks to me like a round bristle brush, is it?
Yeah, so I also collect brushes.
Yeah,
so
it's a thickness.
Yeah, it is. It's almost like collecting colors and collecting brushes. And so this one, the filberts, I kind of like for the sky and also the marshlands.
Is that a filbert or a round?
Yeah, this is a filbert actually, and it's from Artwork Essentials. And so people probably know Artwork Essentials for their wonderful easels or palette boxes, but they also make these great brushes. So I kind of toggle between these brushes and rosemary brushes are probably my 2 favorites.
All right. So that's Artwork Essentials. That's Peggy Chang. Yep. We love Peggy.
Peggy's awesome. And so below here, I'm going to put in, it's a little bit lighter towards the horizon. So I'm putting in a lighter sky color. Again, I'm looking at my trees here. And then I kept my cloud. You see it's white. I didn't put a wash on that, because I've just found with the clouds, there's such light colors generally that putting a wash on, it usually doesn't work for me. So there's a little bit of a shadow underneath this cloud here. So I'm just putting it through.
Okay. Welcome to, excuse me, welcome to Norway and Netherlands who are watching. Thank you for tuning in. And North New Jersey.
Nice.
Hey, you guys, if you would be so kind as to share this right now, that helps, because then other people might discover it and get a chance to see Ellen live.
So I'm putting in a little warmth. There's always usually a little warmth in these clouds, and so I'm just putting that in right now. So my light is coming from the right, and so I'm going to have more of my light hitting that side. So a lot of times I kind of work up to my lights. I keep it in the medium value with a little bit of the yellow here. So my clouds at the end, I generally put kind of a whiter stroke. But what I want to talk about too is I have these great brushes by Rosemary. I think they're Mongoose. I love these for my edges. So,
well, if they're Mongoose, you can't get them anymore.
Oh, they must be old then.
Yeah, they're very valuable because unfortunately they're not allowed to sell them anymore. But they're great brushes. Yeah. But they've come up with a Mongoose substitute, which is pretty awesome.
Yeah, so I'm just kind of softening these edges right now.
Now,
So
tell me again, you said that you tend to make things a little whiter or lighter at the end of the cloud. Why is that?
I'm just looking over like the overall feel, and I put my last like sparkles in at the end generally. You know,
Okay.
so I do that. So I'm going to work down to the back trees now. And
Okay.
my back trees, I like. So I think I've gotten my wash dark enough, but I just kind of like to layer over it and keep it soft. And I want a lot of different colors in this back area.
Okay. Well, Pakistan just tuned in. Hey, Pakistan, welcome.
Hey, Pakistan.
We're all one big happy artist family. New Zealand. Hello, Hazel in New Zealand. I don't mention all the people in America. There's too many of them. I'd be talking all the time. I already talk too much.
So I'm trying to keep some of this undercoating. You can see in here, that's kind of the, you kind of have to think of where to put the stroke down because I like the transparency coming in. So I'm just trying to get my darks more on the right-hand side here.
Okay. Do you want to talk just briefly about why the color of those trees is so much bluer for those who might not understand that?
So as the trees go back, they're receding. So atmospherically, they're bluing off or cooling off in the back. So they generally have more blue in them. And I'm pushing that right now because, I just like the turquoiseness of these clouds. I mean, sorry, the trees back here.
Uh-huh.
And
Well, we
so
just had England just tuned in, and we have, let's see, we just Cape Town, South Africa. First time I've seen that one. Welcome.
Cape Town, South Africa, that's nice. That's one on my bucket list to go over to Africa and do the safari and see the animals. I think that'd be awesome.
Well, stick with me. I took a group over there. Unfortunately, I had the trip all sold, and then I found out I had a little medical issue I had to deal with, so I didn't get to go. But we sent our crew, and they had a great time. So we'll do it again sometime because that's on my bucket list too.
Yeah, that sounds great. So as you can see, I'm kind of building these colors up and just kind of layering the color back. So I have another row kind of back. I'm actually adding some purple down here. I'm just keeping it light still. And I like that I'm showing a little bit of this dark in here. I think it adds a little more texture. So these are also some really cool tools here. I've got, they're used actually in, I guess, ceramics. I call them a scraper tool. But you can kind of, I'm having some birds come in, so you can kind of come back here and scrape out some things here. I was lucky enough to go to Brittany with 12 other artists in the summer of 2019, and I had the privilege of painting next to Crystal Brown a lot of the trip, and I would go over and just kind of laugh because she had all these funky little tools that she used to make these marks on her paintings, and they were just beautiful. So you can use a variety of tools to kind of get some neat effects.
Yeah, Crystal's an up-and-coming rock star, that's for sure. She won a prize in our portrait and selfie competition. Wow, a lot of people coming in today. Hello, a couple more people in England. Welcome.
Nice. And all right, so I'm going to keep moving forward, actually. So I've got these bigger trees. I love the overlapping of the trees, so I'm going to go to my darker color here, darker green. Start laying some in right here. So I love how.
Is your goal to not cover part of that underpainting, or?
Yeah, it is actually. I feel like if I've done it right, that I'm going to get a thinner coat underneath. And so I really don't want to cover it all up, to be honest.
Yeah. And do you try to keep that fairly transparent in your dark?
Yes, I do.
All right. Hello, Philippines. Hello, Maui.
So you can see it's starting to build up a little bit here. And I like this warmth and brown because there's a lot of warmth in the trees kind of bouncing up. Even in the bushes on the ground, there's a lot of warmth. Yeah. So again, I'm looking at, a lot of times the tree, it's that edge that defines the tree. So I'm looking at the edges. In California, we have these gorgeous eucalyptus trees too.
Oh, I know. I miss them so much. I used to live out there.
Yeah, I heard that. Yeah. Over in the East Bay, correct?
Yeah, Walnut Creek area.
Nice. Yeah, I'm on the South Bay.
We did a California Art Club paint out at my house because I lived with this incredible view.
Oh, that's
And
awesome.
I met a lot of great people that day.
Yeah, I've been very active with the California Art Club. I'm one of the co-chairs for the San Francisco region with Paul Cratter. And we did, before COVID, I think we had an event every single month. It was just fantastic.
Well, I'm jealous because when I was out there and a member in that chapter, you know, there was not much going on. So I'm glad you're doing that.
Yeah, and even now, you know, I started to be part of the virtual task force, and it's been great that the club has really stepped up and started creating a lot of virtual exhibitions. And yesterday there was a great demo by Kathleen Dunphy that I attended, wonderful artist and painter. And you guys should know that we have a phenomenal new exhibition that we're launching. The deadline to enter is January 31st. It's Excellence in Fine Art, Traditional Fine Art. And we have the honor of having Mr. Peter Trippy as our first judge.
Peter Trippy.
Huh?
Giving you a hard time. He's a great friend and, of course, works with me. Now, you received an award recently. Congratulations. Tell us about that.
So I was honored to receive the Volunteer of the Year for the California Art Club. And so it was, I really enjoyed, Peter and Elaine Adams are just phenomenal people, and the president and executive director. And so I got the award for my work as a chapter chair and also for my work, you know, helping to launch this new virtual exhibition. And
Congratulations.
Oh, thank you. You had a great award too from them.
Yeah, that was kind of sweet. It was really nice to get some recognition.
Well, you do a phenomenal job of promoting the arts and promoting artists in the business. So that's really great.
So if the people watching from other places, can they be members of the California Art Club?
Oh, yes. Yeah, we're always accepting new members. And one of the things that people may not know is obviously we have a lot of chapters in California. We have about 12 chapters, but we have all these out-of-state chapters too. You can be all over the United States and join as a member. So
what's the benefit to being a member if you're from outside of California?
Well, you can apply to all of our shows. We do regular shows that you can apply to, especially the one that we're just launching right now. And then all of our educational things you're invited to attend to, all of our demos, our critiques. So it's a great way to meet other artists and be part of the community. I've kind of always felt that, you know, being part of a larger community helps everybody, you know.
Well, I've often, you know, we've, when our kids are done with college, we've thought about maybe moving somewhere else. And we sure loved living in California. And we miss the community. The art community is so strong. So being part of the California Art Club, no matter where you are, is great. And the shows really lift the quality of all the artists. It's amazing the work that Peter and Elaine Adams have done to revitalize this club's over 100 years old, isn't it?
Yes, it is. Yeah. Have a lot of great history, and they have a wonderful staff. And yeah, it's been amazing. I think, you know, the people who have really shined during this pandemic, you know, it's, you know, trying like yourself, trying to find solutions to help the whole community and, you know, to stay present. So consistency really matters, I think, you know. So I've kind of laid a little bit of my trees. This is cooler over here. I want it to be a little bit warmer. I'll still add more warmth as I go on, but I'm just going to work in back here. So I have a little bit of water that I have coming in here, but this is the back of the marsh area. So I want this area to be cooler as I work forward. So let's see here.
By the way, I should mention that the three great publications in the art world, Fine Art Connoisseur and Plein Air Magazine, but one that's almost probably better than those. I shouldn't say that, but the newsletter for the California Art Club is one of the best publications. That alone is worth the membership. It's just so well done.
Yeah, it's incredible. Yeah, it's really, really well done. I agree with that. Let me put in these front trees a little bit here.
All right.
So I've got this coming down.
You guys have any questions, put them in the comments section.
Yep, I'd love to answer any questions you have.
So you said you took a Bill Davidson workshop. Tell me about that.
Yeah, Bill's been my teacher for many years, actually, which I've been very fortunate. And obviously Bill's a great artist. But what I like about him too is it's a very much a can-do spirit that he has when you're with him. And I also really like that it's his second career. So for me, this is my second career too. And sometimes when you're starting out as an artist, it's a little overwhelming or intimidating. And so I've kind of followed his path and what he's done and been able to do. And, you know, I think showing up and his ability, what I really like about him is he's continually growing. He's continually looking for ways to improve. And so
we have a top secret project we're going to announce, I think, on Monday with Bill.
Oh, nice.
And it's unlike anything anybody's ever done before.
Yeah, if you have the opportunity to work with them, definitely do. He's a great, great teacher. So I've been very fortunate to be able to work with him for a long time.
Well, it shows in your work.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, he's a great guy. All right, I'm going to move down here, and as you can see, I'm getting a little bit warmer in the marsh area here.
Somebody asked about reference photo. I'm just going to show the reference photo real quickly.
Oh, yeah.
Because I can. Here we are. So this is the reference. Oh, no, that's a reference painting, a photo of a painting.
Yeah.
Right? And that's what you're using as your reference, the painting?
Yes. And, you know, but I plein air paint quite a bit. And I actually started plein air painting in the marshlands. It's one of my favorite subject matters. And so I've been down there seeing the colors. So, you know, I've designed this based on my experience, you know, painting, you know, on location.
When you say down there, where is down there?
Sorry, Palo Alto Baylands. So it's about a half an hour south of my house.
Oh, okay.
So I'm actually going to back up, and I wanted to, you know, this is about reflection. So I need to reflect these trees coming down in here. So I'm just going to start putting that in a little bit. And reflections can be a little bit scary sometimes because you're losing your lines. You know, it's kind of, and you want these reflections to be really soft and watery. So I'm looking above these darks, and I'm trying to look at where some of the light is coming in here too. But I am losing my line. And what I'll do sometimes is I'll reverse my stroke coming up through here. And so if you'll notice, my strokes are going vertically down, and that's important when you're doing reflections. And I will show you why that's important as I lay over the color. So you want to keep them going down because you're going to lay the water over. So right here, you know, sometimes just measure it up, like where is that reflection hitting?
So somebody asked a question about your underpainting. We covered it before, but yes, there's some squiggly lines coming down. She used Gamsol, very thin, almost like watercolor. And this is oil paint that she's painting in on a linen panel. And she gets those effects, and that way they kind of bleed through and make things believable.
Yeah, and I kind of like, I'm seeing right now, I'm not completely covering it. I kind of like this effect. You know, you just kind of have to experiment. Like I saw Mary Garish on Tuesday, and I was like, whoa, she put on this great ochre color right on top of her painting, and she was fearless, you know, on trying some new things. So sometimes by experimenting with these different effects, you can really get onto something new, you know, something that works.
Fearless is a good thing. Sri Lanka, welcome.
All right. So I'm also doing the other direction, this back area. So when I was designing this too, I wanted to have some strong diagonals going this way, and then it flattens out in perspective as it goes back. And so my center of interest, so I'm directing you this way, is going to be here. I'm going to have some birds coming in, the lightest part of my cloud, and more of my light coming here. So I know it looks pretty funky right now, but you just have to be patient, and it'll come together. So I'm going to go back to this area here and add some more color in here.
Hey, everybody, give Ellen some encouragement. Give her some likes and some thumbs up if you're enjoying this. Every artist needs to be encouraged, even the great ones.
No, that's true. And I think when you pick teachers too, you know, you pick people that are encouraging to you also, because you know, when you're starting out, it's a lot to learn, you know.
Well, and we're all very insecure when we start out, and sometimes forever. And sometimes a teacher can destroy your interest in going forward. I've met far too many people who have been devastated by teachers because, you know, they're sometimes tough is okay, but tough and encouraging is important.
Yeah, and I did have that experience. It was my first plein air class ever, or workshop ever, and I was supposed to go with a friend who was a well-established artist, and she backed out at the last minute. I'm like, I'll go, you know, and I hadn't really had a lot of plein air experience. And I have to say the teacher was pretty brutal with me, and it was hard to get over that. But I was just like, okay, it's one experience. I'm not going to give up. I'm going to go for it. So, you know.
We have an expert on mindset who's going to be on the show in February, and one of the world's leading experts on mindset. And I wanted to have her on because I think that the way we self-talk impacts everything. So when that's on, you guys are going to want to see that.
No, that would be awesome. And I've been reading your book and your art marketing book, and I love your topic on masterminds too.
Yeah. Well, masterminds changed my life. I wish I had discovered them 30 years ago. I spend a lot of money to attend masterminds. Masterminds, for those who don't know, are basically groups of people, and you become one mastermind. You work on their business, they work on your business. And usually there's some experts in the crowd. I'm in one now. And it's I've been in 3 different ones. It's life-changing. I'm thinking about making one for the artists marketing industry. I hate the word industry, but for people who want to really, you know, somebody who says, okay, I need some help, I need some coaching, I'm gonna need to be part of a group to, you know, so I can get to the level of, you know, a brand like a Peter Adams or a Richard Schmidt or somebody like that.
I would love to be part of that. That's really up my alley.
Well, I haven't decided if I want to take the time yet. Time is so precious.
It is precious, yeah. I'm just putting a little bit of a shadow underneath this area here, underneath my trees.
Okay.
So blending that in, a little more shadow in here. For this painting, I want everything to be soft. I just like the moodiness of the marshland.
Yeah.
You know, and during this time period too, I've been really attracted to just kind of tranquil scenes. And I actually spent a lot of time doing sunsets during this time too.
Oh yeah, I'll bet. Hello, yeah. Germany. Willkommen. Ich bin Eric Rhoads. That's about that's all I can do.
All right, I'm going to add a little bit in the back here, some water, just so you can see how this is coming through. So I love kind of having this water line at the back.
Ellen, are you using water-soluble oil?
No, I'm not, actually. I'm a Gamblin or Sennelier girl.
Yeah,
And
I thought so, but there's a water-soluble discussion developed in the comments. I wondered if I had missed that somehow.
no, yeah. And, a lot of people are going towards that, and I understand. We have to be careful of all the cadmiums and things like that. So I get that. I think, when you start out using something and it works, you kind of stick with it.
Well,
And
that water soluble still has cadmiums and so on, so they're not cadmium free. They're
no,
just they just don't require a turpentine or Gamsol or something like that.
mm-hmm.
Hello, Ireland. Welcome, Mary.
So I'm getting there. So, all right. I have not put my lights in here, but I just want to say, if it's going, I can put some more light kind of coming through here.
I'm going to pull up the reference image real quick again, Ellen, because I just was curious. Okay,
Sure.
so there's water back there. I see. That's all right.
Yeah.
Terrific. Now, there's a tendency by a lot of people who want to just kind of put in every little leaf and every little strand of weed. How do you deal with that?
I've learned that really keeping the bigger shapes clear gives that. You don't want to show the viewer every little nuance. I almost want to create something that you're going to dream at. You're going to fill in those blanks yourself. So that's kind of the feel that I'm going for.
Okay, dreamy.
Dreamy, yeah. So I'm going to start putting in a little bit of the water color here.
So what's going to be happening? You're going to put in the once you get this filled in, then what are you going to do? You're going to go back in and start putting in detail?
Yeah, I'm going to put in some more detail.
All right. I'll be anxious to see that. That's fun to watch the jewels happen.
Yeah. So I'm going to get this blue. It's reflecting from the sky here. Might be a touch dark. Let's see.
The reflections are typically darker, are they not?
Yes, they are. They are typically darker than what it's reflecting above. So this is the part where you kind of want to slow down a bit.
Why?
Because I'm going to have these strokes going across, but you're also thinking of this as a pattern. And because you've worked so hard putting these reflections in to set that down, you want to be careful on how you go across. So I usually spend a little bit more time thinking this through. I mean, oils are forgiving, so you can come back. So you can kind of see that blue coming in there right now. So I'm going to go to my next color, which is a little bit more turquoisey. I'm going to start adding a little bit more of that in. There's some more turquoisey coming from the top of those trees there. So I love laying in color. So my blue is going to go more across on this side. So I can start laying that in a bit more.
Do you have to wipe your brush out in between those strokes so that you're not carrying?
Yeah, I do. Also, it's the amount of pressure that you're putting on. So if you have a good even pressure, you can kind of get away with it. So as you can see, do you see how now, like when I put those strokes in vertically, so the water is sitting on top of it now. So the stroke direction is really important. So I will also, this is where I said I'll take some time, but I take that soft brush I was talking about with the clouds, and I don't want any hard lines. So I'm going to take a long time on making sure that everything is soft here and watery. But if this is too much for me, did I cover it too much? I'll come back again with a vertical stroke. I'll do a couple different vertical strokes. So this edge line, like I said, is something that you kind of get lost and found all the time. So I'm going to come back in here and like reestablish. Okay, I want it a little bit darker here. So I'm constantly reestablishing where that line is. So one of the brushes I use, you don't want to do it all the time, but if you can see, there's this little angled brush. And
Yeah.
my good friend Kim Lordier actually introduced me to this brush, and I just love it. And
What kind of brush is that?
it's a royal and lang nickel brush, and
Okay.
it's a dagger, a quarter dagger. So I love using also the Gamblin solvent-free gel, this one here. And
Yeah.
so I basically dip my brush in the solvent-free gel because I want it really loose. And then I dip it in the color that I want. So I come back here, and you see how it makes these great little, you can use the side of your brush, but they make these great little bead-like indentations here.
Yeah.
And so I will spend a lot of time kind of working it. I want some of this to overlap in the back. I've already laid in my water here. You know, you can take it and darken it in certain areas. Use the other side of it coming up, bring it down. I mean, it's what's fun about the marsh, it's constant play. Constantly going back and forth here.
If you guys are enjoying this, give her some applause with a heart or a thumb up or something. I am enjoying it. I'm learning a lot.
Oh, thanks.
What amazes me is I've been painting for 20 plus years. I know lots of artists. I've taken lots of workshops. I do a lot with artists, as you know. And every single day, I still pick up something I didn't know.
Yeah, it's amazing. I teach classes, and in the middle of my class, I tell my students I make them put their brushes down. You know, obviously they need to step away from their painting, but also like you can learn from your fellow artists. Like there's so many little tricks, or you know, I've had so many students go over, oh, I didn't know you were painting that, or oh, that's really cool, or how did you do that? You know, so not only when you attend those workshops, you know, make time to walk around and see what somebody else is doing. It's yeah.
The thing when I'm out plein air painting with buddies, I will oftentimes, take a break and walk around, and I'll walk and look at what they're doing. And then I get tempted to go, oh, I like what they did there. I think I'll put that in mine. And then I start screwing things up. So I've had to learn to not do that. I try not to look at their work while I'm still painting, and it helps.
Yeah. But this
Okay, now talk about what you're doing there. You're laying in some whites.
blue, and as you can see, just by me laying in this blue, you're seeing that water line. So I'm not touching this. I want you to see that complete reflection right here. So by me laying it in, you can see now where that bank of the marsh is coming. So that's what I'm trying to represent there. So it's those small little details at the end. Like a lot of times with my students, they want to rush through something. You've got to lay that foundation, you know, like you got to make your cake and you ice it at the end. You know what I mean? So when you come back with these little gems. So this is the stuff that takes a little bit of time. So I'm going to have another watermark kind of come through here. You know, if it's too much, just wipe it off, you know, do it again. So I'm going to have some lighter color coming through here. Let's see. So
Would you mind, from the comments, would you mind saying the name of the dagger brush again? I think you said it was Royal Lang Nickel.
It is. It's Royal Lang Nickel, and it's a dagger, and it's a 1/4 inch that I have.
Okay.
And it's great for the marshes. And that's, you know, this is what I kind of do at the end. So you know, I pick my spots. You don't want to do it everywhere. You know what I mean? Because you just, like I said, you don't want to put too many details in, but you want to give enough details that people know what it is. I love these little reeds coming down here too, and the reflections. So that's coming back through there. So what I'll do too is I want to bring a little bit of that blue on the other side too, because I'm looking at the whole shape, and I want to have a little bit more coming in here.
Well, I gotta read one of these comments to you. It's so fabulous. Let's see if I can find it again. Um, I've been watercoloring for 30 years, but now I'm inspired to take up oil painting. Thanks to Ellen. Hope I'm not too old. You're not too old, Judith.
No,
Never
you're
too old.
and I love there's a book by Angela Duckworth, Grit. It's and they when people are starting out, they're like, oh, I'm not talented, I can't paint, I can't do this, and it's sorry about that.
Is that yours or mine?
That was my phone.
Oh, okay.
I thought I turned everything off. Oh well. And
Somebody probably called to say, hey, did you know that you're on Facebook right now?
maybe isn't that funny? So I will keep going. And what I like right here is sometimes I'll go to my soft brushes. And so I want a little bit more light in the front. There's more light in the front here. So
Judith says she's almost 82. I said, Judith, it doesn't matter. It's just a number. You got plenty of time.
Yeah, you can.
I'm not even at the halfway point yet.
I would just tell new students, like, consistency is great. Just show up and do your best work. And, for people that say, well, I don't have time to paint. Well, you have time to go to the doctors or do your errands, whatever. So I say, write down in your day timer, right? From 9 to 12 on Wednesday, I am painting, and do not book anything else in there. Start out with that kind of a, segment. And then, as you get better or as your interest grows, you can add more time in there. You know what I mean?
You can always find time. We don't realize how much time we waste.
Yeah. That's
I was sitting around the other day and my phone popped up, says, you've spent 6 hours on social media. It's like, what? How did I do that?
Yeah. You don't think you're spending that much time.
What I've learned also that's been very helpful, that might be help people do this. I'm doing this program from my studio, and I have an office in a different part of the house, and so I've just been staying here and working, and so I keep a painting going most of the time. I haven't the last couple of weeks, but so if I'm on a phone call or something, I can be on that phone call and be touching up the painting, and that way I get a little bit more painting time in.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you can make ways to make it easier for you to get that painting time in. There's like little tricks to do that. I have a studio in San Carlos, which is a little bit, maybe 15 minutes from my house, and but I'll spend time just even drawing and composing. So by the time I get to my studio, I have some ideas already going on. So that's helpful too.
Yeah, great idea.
And you've got a big thing coming up. I hear you've got a 10th anniversary coming up pretty soon.
Well, it's kind of a misnomer, but yes, 10 years this time with Plein Air Magazine. I launched it, and then I ran it for either 2 or 3 years. I can't remember. And then we had trouble. We couldn't survive because nobody thought plein air was a thing. And so I essentially converted it to Fine Art Connoisseur because I needed a broader, because the galleries wouldn't support it and the art materials wouldn't support it. And then I thought, I got to bring it back at some point. And immediately, of course, I irritated a lot of people when I took it away, but I didn't have the money to keep it going. And then one day I said, I think it's time. I think there's more people plein air painting. So I brought it back. And by then the advertisers were interested in the movement and what was happening. And so it's 10 years this time, but it's actually about 13 years.
That's great, though. I mean, really wonderful. It's a great magazine. Both your magazines are just wonderful. So
thank you. Plein Air is the #1 selling art magazine in America at Barnes & Noble. Just blows me away, of all things. Why would that happen? But it's cool.
Well, you stayed consistent,
Yeah. And I'm working on a national television show about plein air painting, and it's called the Great Outdoor Painting Challenge. We're actually still soliciting cast members. We're in the midst of trying to raise the about $700,000 to produce it. So we haven't had any progress since COVID. So we're kind of starting up again. But we'll raise that money and get that out. That I've got a national network committed to it, and they think that once we get it on the air, everybody in America is going to be wanting to do plein air painting. So I think we can really touch a lot of people if I can find the right person to step up and give us some money.
Yeah, I mean, the beauty of plein air painting, especially during COVID, I mean, you can get out and experience nature, and it's a definite mindset. Like, like I said, I love the marshland, but the other place I love being by the ocean, and just going out for a day and painting by the ocean, like that changes my whole mindset. I mean, it's just wonderful.
Oh, it's everything about plein air painting is so wonderful. It's life changing.
It is life changing.
It's so much fun. So on Sunday, I woke up and it was kind of rainy, and then it started snowing here in Austin, which is highly unusual. And so I said to the kids, I said after church I'm going to go. We're going to do some plein air painting. And I waited till about 2 or 3 inches accumulated. And then I went out, and I love painting in the snow. I didn't used to like it because I didn't like being cold, but I figured out how to get around that. I'll show you a quick picture. This is from Sunday. We had snow. It was just so beautiful.
That's awesome.
It was a lot of fun.
Yeah.
It's just something about it that, you're outdoors, you're being creative. It's just the best.
Yeah. Yeah.
I encourage everybody to try it.
And even like with social distancing, you can go and paint with your friends. You don't need to stand near them, but it's nice to have that community. So
Absolutely.
It's one of those things you can still do, which is really awesome. So I'm just putting in some little tree branches in here. This is my details. I still have a little bit of this drip going on, so I don't want to fully cover that, but just starting to put a little bit of this in, and if the tree's too much, you just kind of come back in here and just soften this area. It's really easy to do.
Outstanding. You guys give her a thumbs up or a heart. She's doing great. Ellen, we got about 7 minutes.
Okay, well, I'm going to put some birds in there actually, because.
What kind of birds are you going to put in?
They're probably going to be the marshland birds, like those beautiful egrets. I love the egrets. And so they're all white. And, I'm just going to do a pattern. You don't want to just do one bird, So I'm going to do about 5 birds. It's nice to have an odd number coming through here. So my focal, I know people talk about this, but like the golden mean. So one thing I didn't talk about when I first started is, every painting I make my third marks here on the top, the bottom, on the sides.
Kind of like a tic-tac-toe board is what you're saying.
Yeah, a tic-tac-toe board, and it's in this circle, or I'm sorry, in this square, that those points of those intersections is where a lot of times you want your focal point to be. So right here is kind of where I want to direct you. So this is the time that I'll kind of come back and, I'll pop up my color in here. I'll pop up my focal. So I'll put a little bit more rich color. So hopefully I'm getting you to the diagonal, strong diagonal coming up through here, picking up these birds over through here. And then, like I said, I will come back and I will pop up that cloud with a little bit more white on that area here. So I'll put a little bit more light coming in the side because that's where my direction of my light is.
Now, do you always make sure that that white has a little bit of tint of something in it, or is that pure white?
No, I'm putting at the end. I put in pure white, and I've just learned that it gives me more of a pop. Like I do have a little bit of yellow next to it, so I'm going to come back here, and I'm going to constantly work with my edges. So over here, like with my trees, this is something I do at the end. I'm going to soften all these edges. I still need, in my opinion, to put a little bit more light on these trees. more highlight, but I just want to show you how, I don't want these edges to be something that draws you back there. So I'm
So
just
you're softening. So you're softening them.
yeah, I'm softening all these edges.
I also noticed the top of your trees is a lot lighter, I guess, catching the sunlight.
Yeah. And if I don't like that shape in here, all right, so I can come back with my small brush and look how easy this is. So I'm constantly looking and defining my shapes, but I can come back in here and redefine this by just adding some more light. What if I want some tree holes in here, which I love doing tree holes, like the light kind of popping through here in the back. And so, you just experiment. Maybe that's too rounded. Maybe I want to make this smaller. So I will take the time now to kind of go back and refine the edges of these trees.
Here's a comment from Hi, I'm from Northern Ireland. This is a brilliant tutorial for me right now as my landscape has lots of greens.
Oh, yeah. Nice.
So Ellen, what's the key to making sure your greens don't feel too garish?
Okay, the key is you always need to add some red in there. Always do.
That's a complementary color.
Yeah, it's a complementary color. And, really practice. Like I probably have like 15 different colors of green on my palette. Let me show this to you again. And what I'm looking is I'm taking like the mother color, like I'll make this mother color, what I call a mother color, like here.
Yeah.
And how do I add a little warmth to it? I need a little more blue or add a little more blue. So they're just temperature changes. Some are warmer, some are cooler. As these are my back tree colors, look how cool they are compared to the ones coming up front. So, and I love mixing colors. That's one of the things I love doing, experimenting with the colors.
Yeah. You're doing a great job here. I wish we didn't have to end so soon.
Okay.
Yeah. Well, why don't you come back on camera so we can kind of say goodbye. Thumbs up and applause for Ellen Howard. This is absolutely fabulous. I love this. I mean, I've got the best job in the world, Ellen. I get to watch people paint.
Oh, thanks. Thank you so much for having me. It's been awesome.
Well, we love you and we love what you do. Will you show us your studio real quickly?
Yeah. Okay. So I'm going to take you on a flying machine here. So let me unplug my laptop and see if I can get this to go. Okay. All right. So I've got a really small studio, but it's mighty. So as you can see, I've got the setup here. Behind the curtain is all my frames, my light back, and then my fun couch. I love to have visitors. So when after COVID, we'll have more visitors. But it's a really small space, but super fun. I've got my mirror back there so I can see my shapes and values more correct. And of course, a little fridge there with my wine, for visitors. So,
do you drink wine and paint?
No, I actually don't. I paint first, and then when I'm finished, I will have.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
I was painting and drinking. I had been painting this big painting of 30 by 40 that I've been working on. And I was making great progress and I worked on it for weeks. And then I made the mistake of painting while having some wine. And I just started being free and fearless and I just completely blew it. So I have to start over.
Yeah. Yeah, that happens sometimes. Yeah.
So, our judgment. Well, Ellen, this has been fabulous. Do you do any online teaching? Do you have any workshops, anything that people can look into?
Yeah, I've been doing a lot of Zoom workshops, and I've got one coming up in February. I believe it starts on the 8th for the Mendocino Art Center, and it's painting the Pacific Coast. So I'll be doing all the ocean and rocks and coastal scenes. And then I write a monthly newsletter. So if anybody would like to subscribe, and it's a great way for artists too. It keeps me honest. So every month, mid-month, I'm like, what did I learn? What have I created? What can I teach? And I'm like, by the end of the month, I have to have those things done. And each month's a different theme of what I've learned.
Outstanding. Well, Ellen, this has been absolutely fabulous. I ask everybody to hang with me for just a minute because I'm going to ask you a very important question. Ellen, I'm honored that you would be on the show today.
Oh, thank you so much.
Thank you. And we'll talk afterwards. So I'll see you in a minute.
All right, sounds good.
All right. So I need you guys to give me some help. We have been doing this show every day for 295 days, pretty much continuously. And we've been doing this at 12 noon every day on Facebook and YouTube. You can find it by searching Streamline Art if you're new to us. And every day at 3 p.m., we've been offering samples of the over 600 art instruction videos we've produced with the world's top masters. And so every day, 295 days, we celebrated when we got to 2 weeks because we thought we would be in quarantine for 2 weeks, right? We celebrated again when we got to 100 days. We celebrated again when we got to 200 days. And I ended up giving away a ton of stuff. And I've been giving away stuff every day too. So day 295 today, guess what's coming up on the 19th, the day before the big inauguration? The 19th will be day number 300. And I want to make it really special for you. Day number 300 is huge. Day 365 is going to be even bigger because it'll be a year in. But day 300, I need something special. So I need you guys to put comments in of what you would like me to do to celebrate on day 300. And maybe it's prizes. Maybe it's a special guest. Maybe it's several special guests. Maybe it's a new concept entirely. But I want you to put your ideas in and tell me what you would like to see. And I'll go through your comments later after the replays and so on, so everybody can chime in. And then I'll try to find out what to do and do that. So I would really appreciate that. And I got to make a decision today because I don't have much time to invite people or get things under control and get them on board. So I want to also mention to you guys a couple other things. First off, a lot of you are new, and I wanted to tell you a couple things. First off, I would love it if you would follow me. On Instagram, it's Eric Rhoads, and it's spelled RHOADS with no E. So if you would do that, that would be terrific. Today at 3 p.m., our art instruction video is a classic called Painting Metal, and it's from Johnny Lillidahl. It's from one of her original videos. Johnny started the art instruction video business 35 or 8 years ago. And you're going to get a chance to see how she did that. So that's going to be today at 3 o'clock, Johnny Lillidahl. You don't want to miss that. We have a $7,000 painting that we're giving away. This is the great Thomas Schaller. Thomas Schaller is considered to be probably one of the best watercolor artists in the world. And he's, of course, being featured on our Watercolor Live event coming up later this month. And he decided to enrich this by giving away a painting so anybody can win. You don't have to go to Watercolor Live to win it. And this is what it would sell for in the gallery. So what a chance to win a $7,000 painting. I mean, I don't have many $7,000 paintings around my house. So just go to paintinggiveaway.com, and you don't have to pay anything. Just put your info in there, and then we're going to do the drawing during Watercolor Live. If you're not there, you'll find out soon after. All right. Speaking of Watercolor Live, it is the world's leading experts. One of those experts is going to be on tomorrow, Matthew Bird, a watercolorist, to look at the quality of this still life work. And he's going to be doing something for us tomorrow. So you want to make sure that you tune in for that. Here's something very, very brief, 15 seconds. Hang in there.
Join the world for Watercolor Live, the ultimate watercolor learning event, January 27th to 30th. 4 days of online art lessons from top master watercolor artists from around the globe. Learn to paint nature, people, cityscapes, flowers, and more. Become a better artist. Click the link to learn more and get our free ebook, 101 Watercolor Secrets from the Top Masters.
I gotta tell you guys that you guys are crushing it. We've done plein air live, and then we did realism live, and now we're doing watercolor live. We got a couple others around the corner too, and watercolor live is crushing it. I mean, we're almost at 1,500 people, or excuse me, 1,600 people. You've still got till the 20th to save $300, and then you're going to pay full retail price. And so it's going to be amazing. Really the top watercolor artists in the world. And we have instructors all over the world. It's virtual, so you're safe. You're at home, and it's going to be a lot of fun. And my deal is I want people to be happy. So if you watch the first day, and after the end of the first day, and they're long days, by the way, if you don't feel like you get your entire week's worth of money, this is a 4-day event. If you didn't feel like you got your entire money's worth in the first day, let us know. We'll refund 100% of your money. That's how confident we are that you will have an incredible experience. So that's called watercolorlive.com. Check that out. Thank you for being here today. And thanks to Ellen Howard. Today's day number 295. I'm Eric Rhoads from Plein Air Magazine and Fine Art Connoisseur Magazine. We do all kinds of things. And if you want to find out all the things that we do, go to streamlinepublishing.com/everything. We have newsletters, magazines, products, a TV channel that you can get on Roku and Amazon and Apple. We have virtual events. We have live events. Well, this year, not so much, or last year, not so much. The Plein Air Convention is coming up in May, hopefully. And we have artist retreats, and we have art instruction videos, hundreds and hundreds of them, and lots of other stuff. So just go there and check it out, streamlinepublishing.com/everything. And thank you for watching today. I'm Eric Rhoads, publisher of Fine Art Connoisseur, Plein Air Magazine, and Streamline Art. Remember, stay positive in spite of all the craziness that's going on, in spite of perhaps your fears or your angers or whatever your mindset happens to be. Remember, fear kills, stress kills. You don't want to embrace fear. You've got to embrace things that are going to make you feel good about yourself. That's why I do this show every day, give you something to think about, something to try, something to practice. Maybe some of you are in lockdown, something to keep you busy. We've had hundreds and hundreds of artists from around the world tell us things like, I started painting because they started watching this show. I haven't painted in 30 years, but I started painting again because of watching this show. And I'd love to hear your stories, and I'd love to hear your comments on what you would like for day 300. I am honored that you would give me an hour of your time today. Make sure to tune in today at 3 o'clock for Johnny Lillidahl. Have a terrific day. Bye-bye.